there is danger. But when was the last time someone opened up a conversation telling you that there was a danger? But this is because there actually is. Come closer. You see, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter, X, these are the platforms that are literally chopping away the lives of millions of people, and that includes believers. I hesitate to say the time of people because basically our lives are a function of our time. And moreover, I want you to see the gravity of this danger. I would allow you to take a wild guess, but how many hours do you think the average adult spend on their handsets? 1, 2, nah, a solid 4. And according to recent research, 7 to 8 hours among teenagers. Now that's an equivalent of 2 days every week, almost 9 days in a month, and 105 days every single year, amounting to 30% of the entire year looking at phone screens and social media content, of which majority of them are irrelevant. The real problem over here is that as a result of this insatiable appetite for endless scrolling, the average believer no longer has a prayer life, a word study life, and as far as Christianity goes, means no life at all, because the core of Christianity is our relationship with God. So if the time which is supposed to be invested in building a relationship with God is invested in endless scrolling, then there is imminent danger. Before social media and the internet, people spent a lot of their free times outside. Children and teenagers played with each other. In fact, recent research shows that people are more depressed and disconnected in the era of the internet and social media, which is a little bit of an irony because these platforms are social media platforms, and yet there's still so much disconnection and so much discontentment anytime people go on these social media platforms. Now, my goal is not the disconnection that is happening among people, but the fact that this disconnection is also affecting our relationships with God. Now, I probably don't have to continue with this talk about the threat of these platforms on our relationship with God. You get the point. You may probably be a victim of the time-eating nature of these platforms in your own life, but the good news is that there is a solution. And that is, firstly, you must understand that social media, these platforms, are tools. And how do tools work? They are used for a specific purpose to achieve specific goals, not the other way around. In other words, before you log onto any of these platforms, you should determine ahead of time what you intend doing on those platforms. This is going to save you from endless scrolling and then waste of time, because credit where due, these platforms have mastered how to keep your attention. And two, which is a support to the first point, is that you must be intentional about your use of these platforms. Whether you are using them as a tool for entertainment, communication, or even education, determine how much time spent on these platforms becomes too much. You should determine ahead of time a threshold at which you cannot spend much time on these platforms. Now, on my own handset, I have restricted the use of these things by allocating times, and this is very simple to do on any smartphone. When you go into your settings app, you can allocate times to any other app and including these platforms as to how much time is too much. Now, it's not just enough to limit the time you spend on this platform. That is why number 3 is to channel your time to productive options. And that, I mean, instead of scrolling endlessly on these platforms, spend time in the Bible app on your handset. Instead of looking at content that may not be edifying necessarily, spend time listening to messages or watching them if you prefer that route. You see, in the end, your phone is just a tool. You determine how you use it. This device is a multifaceted tool. It can serve you right or it can serve you wrongly depending on how you use it. Now, being intentional also applies here, because it is easier to scroll endlessly on social media than to open the Bible app on your phone and then start reading. Scrolling on social media endlessly is more gratifying, but then you need to be disciplined about this. Well, you could reward yourself with some time of social media if you still want to do so, probably after spending a good quality time reading the scriptures. But whatever you do, focus. In subsequent videos, I'll share with you some Christian apps that have been absolute game changers for me. So subscribe and then I'll see you there. Now, if you want to see how to overcome temptations, that video is in the description. I'll see you there.